Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Crazy Monkey here again. So this vlog, I want to talk about how the socialist system is just destroying the whole planet, and it's all part of a giant system that the world government is doing. All the different countries are doing it. You know, whether it's communist China, which is basically a hybrid system of socialist big government along with capitalist corporations. It's a combination of both. Whether you look at China or you look at the European Union, you look at the United States, Canada, Australia, all different countries all throughout the world. What you really have is you have a system where they want to do like a socialist system planet-wide. And it's modeled in many ways after China. That's the system. It's modeled after China. And you look at it and they're shutting down like all opportunities for middle class advancement. It used to be if you're a middle class in America, you could go to college, get a degree, and that would guarantee you like a nice middle class life. Today, that's no longer the true. Today, you go to college, you get a degree, you're like $50,000 in debt. Odds are the degree is worthless. Even if the degree has value, you have to live in a big, huge city where you're going to live in a tiny little studio because that's all you can afford, because the house prices are astronomical, because a lot of filthy rich foreign investors and techies and big government people have made the house prices astronomical with zone restrictions and all sorts of stuff like that. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to either A, get a worthless degree, or B, you're going to get a degree that has value, but then you're going to be in a big, huge city paying like $2,000 a month for a studio apartment, just living in like borderline poverty, even though you got a college degree. And that's what's happening. So the college degree is becoming worthless, basically, is what I'm saying. That was one way to get into the middle class, and today that doesn't really work anymore. Another way to be middle class, in the past, in many American cities, you could buy like an old house that's falling apart for like $60,000, $80,000. You could fix it up, renovate it, sell it for like $150,000 and make a profit. Today, you go to many American cities like Seattle, San Francisco, LA, New York, Boston. House prices are so astronomical, you would need like $800,000 to buy a handyman special. Now, if you're an average blue-collar guy, the bank's not going to give you $800,000 loan to fix up a house, even if the house could be sold for like $1.2 million. They're not going to give you an $800,000 loan to fix it up because you don't have the income, you don't have the money to get an $800,000 loan. So you can't do that. That's another way they're doing an economic shutdown, where they're shutting down the middle class. They're making it virtually impossible to get middle class, and this is a system they're doing to turn you into a socialist. That's right, this is a system they're doing to turn you into a socialist, because what they want, their system, folks, let me make sure the camera's still on, I'm not sure if it's on. Their system is to basically make you a socialist voter. That's right, their system is to create socialist voting blocks. So you vote for socialist parties, like the Democrats here in America, or different socialist parties in Europe, Canada, Australia, all over the planet. They want to make you poor. And then the corporations, they love it, because if you're a renter and you're poor, then they can work you 70 hours a week. And that's their system. They want to work you like a slave 70 hours a week. And you're going to be dirt poor, and you're going to live in a micro studio, you're going to live in a one-bedroom commie condo deluxe. You're going to get a college degree, you're going to go $50,000 in debt. This is their system. And then you're going to basically live in this one-bedroom commie condo deluxe that you pay like $500,000 for. And then you got to work like 70 hours a week at this white-collar job. You got to work 70 hours a week at this white-collar job to pay your mortgage payment for that $500,000 one-bedroom commie condo deluxe. The entire system is a total con game. It's a total scam. And like I said, they're shutting down everything to get middle class. Flipping a house used to be a middle class, working class, blue collar guy could buy a house for 80 grand, fix it up, flip it. Now in like half the cities, the houses are 500, 800,000. You can no longer do that system. That system is no longer viable for a middle class, blue collar guy in like 50% of this country, because the prices are too high. All right. Second off, it used to be you could start a small business. Now it's harder and harder to start a small business. It's harder and harder. They're making everything more and more difficult. It used to be you could buy a house for like $150,000, like what I did here in Utah, and then you would make equity in your house, and you would pay the mortgage, and you would get ahead. But now with the house prices $500,000, $800,000, and a lot of the different cities, like in California and New York and stuff, and Boston and Seattle. It's like you can't do that. Actually, the houses in most of those places are over $1 million. So that system no longer works. If you can't buy a house, what are you going to do? Be a renter slave for life? Yeah, that's exactly their system. They want you to be a renter slave for life. They want you to be a renter slave for life, paying rent for your entire life, working 70 hours a week. That's their system. That's their system. That's what the government and the corporations want. Or they want you to be a yuppie, get a college degree, go $50,000 in debt, and then they want you to buy a one-bedroom commie condo deluxe for like $300,000-400,000. And tomorrow we're going to go to Salt Lake City, and I'm going to show you they're building these one-bedroom, two-bedroom commie condo deluxes all over Salt Lake City. There's these like 4-story, 5-story apartment buildings, condo buildings, they're mostly condo buildings, and you just live in a 1- or 2-bedroom unit in the condo building. There's these massive buildings, they're like 5 stories tall. They're building them all over the place in downtown Salt Lake City. They're building them all over the place. And these yuppies, they make like $50,000-80,000 a year in downtown Salt Lake City. They can't afford houses because in Salt Lake City the houses are like $400,000-500,000. So they can't afford houses. They're priced out of the house market. So then they get this one-bedroom commie condo deluxe in this big, huge building, and they pay like $200,000-300,000 for this one-bedroom, two-bedroom commie condo deluxe. It's all a scam. And then they go into debt slavery, paying that $300,000 over the next 30 years in debt slavery, and then then they're forced to work that yuppie job 70 hours a week to pay that mortgage payment. And they're doing the same thing everywhere. They're doing it in Anchorage, Phoenix, all over the West Coast, all over the East Coast, even in the Midwest, even in the South, even in the Rocky Mountain areas. Look at Denver. Denver, the average house price is now over $500,000 in Denver. They're doing this system everywhere, folks. They're doing it everywhere. They want you to be a slave. They want you to be a slave. They want you working 70 hours a week. They want you paying like 50% of your income in taxes to the big socialist government, and then they want you to live in a tiny little apartment, being in debt slavery for your entire life, never getting ahead. Or if you're a yuppie, they want you in a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom commie condo deluxe in a big, huge 5-story condo building. You're in a tiny little unit, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. You're paying like $200,000-300,000 for that unit, or like $1 million if it's in San Francisco or New York City, and then you just are poor forever, paying that thing off over 30 years with interest. You're paying like so much money with interest. It's all a scam to make you work 70 hours a week, to make you a slave. That's their system. I just want to tell you about that too. Another thing I want to talk about real quick too is they're doing other economic shutdown systems as well. I'm a little dizzy right now. I had a drink or two. But they're doing other economic shutdowns as well, folks. That's right. Another economic shutdown they're doing is they got this gig economy. This gig economy is a nightmare. This gig economy is like minimum wage jobs, man. You got all these gig workers, and most of those jobs are like minimum wage or less than minimum wage. You used to have like, let's just say a taxi cab driver, maybe he made 40 grand a year. Now you got this gig worker. By the time they pay for their car, by the time they pay for their gas, by the time they pay for their insurance, they're making like barely minimum wage. It's disgusting. They're shutting it down. They're shutting down any middle class. They're making us all poor. That's their system. And even the yuppies, they're poor too. These yuppies, they think they're well off. These yuppies ain't nothing. They ain't nothing. These yuppies ain't nothing. They're making their $100,000 a year thinking they're something. They got $50,000 in student loan debt with their bachelor's or graduate degree. They're making their $150,000 a year or $100,000 a year. They think they're something. They're nothing. They're nothing. You know why? Because they live in big, huge cities where a 1-bedroom commie condo deluxe will set you back $500,000. A 2-bedroom commie condo deluxe is $700,000, and a single-family house is $1 million. And they're like hella priced out forever. They're nothing. They're nothing. They're nothing. They're dirt poor. They're nothing. It's all part of a slave system, folks. It's all part of a massive slave system to make us slaves, so the billionaire elites get all the money and we get nothing, and that's their system, all right? That's their system. And again, no, I'm not against billionaires. I mean, if they make their money good, that's fine. What I'm against is the socialist system. The socialist system of making everybody dirt poor so the socialist politicians can get elected. That's what I'm against. If you're a billionaire and you started businesses, that's perfectly okay. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good billionaires. What I'm saying is a lot of these ultra-rich people, and especially the socialist Democrats, especially them, they want us to be poor so they can be rich. That's their system. And they use socialist systems so they get richer and richer and we get poorer and poorer. That's what I'm against. That's what I'm against. You know what I'm saying? Like Democrat Socialist Party, a lot of times they'll do zone restrictions, so they ban a lot of development. That makes house prices skyrocket. It makes condo prices skyrocket. The rich elites benefit from that. And then people like us in those cities, we get poor because we can't buy in. For fortunately for me, I already own this house here in Ogden, Utah, or I own most of it, like 40, well, not most of it, but like 40%. So the bank owns 60%. Technically, I own 40%, the bank owns 60%. But you know, that's the way it is. Just saying, just saying. And I want to say another thing too, folks. This is important about this economic shutdown system. Another system that used to be like good for like working class people is you could like you could make like X-rated videos. Like if you were a working class person, you could make X-rated videos, make like 10 or 20,000 fairly easily. Today you can't do that because now the techies have like they just put the videos for free on the internet, and then the techies make money off of it because they do ad revenue, I guess. But the problem is if you make X-rated videos, you don't make no money. You make very little money. So instead of making 10 or 20, you might make like only 1,000 or 2,000. The money's like collapsed. So it used to be in the past you could make an X-rated video, make money, make like 10, 20,000 off a bunch of videos. Now you can't do that. Now you make virtually no money. And then the techies, they steal all the videos, literally. They put them on these sites, and then the techies get all the money off ad revenue. It's crazy. You know, these techies are just wrecking everything. They're just wrecking society. And I just want to talk about that real quick, how these techies are just wrecking society. They are wrecking society. The gig economy, that's wrecking society. They're going to automate our jobs with robots. They're wrecking everything. These techies are wrecking our society. And then they basically, I've already explained it. I've explained it, folks. And the techies, they make techie cities like Austin, Denver, Seattle, sorry about that, San Francisco, San Jose, and all those cities, the house prices are astronomical where you can't be middle class. The techies are really evil. They're really disgusting. And not all techies are evil, but the system of the techie system is what is just disgusting and it's very evil. It's about creating a powerful elite. They're going to be the socialist elite. They're going to have all the money, and then everybody else is going to be dirt poor. That's their techie system. Just saying that real quick.